It's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. It is May 5th, Monday, and tonight was Monday Night Raw. So tonight's Raw, it was better than the last couple of weeks, but I still wouldn't say that it was great. I guess you could say it was good. Let's see who's here with us in the chat right now. We've got Daniel Eubanks, Andre Suicida, Broken T Hall. Oh, I'm going to mess up this name. It's Spiky Bravo, The Wrestling Kids, Lucid TV, Jaden Harvey, Che Lu, Signature Kevin, Killa Nick, Dreidel for FMK. What's going on, everybody? So what did you guys think of tonight's Monday Night Raw? Like I said, it was a better show than normal than we've gotten like the last month. Really, it's probably one of the better, if not the best Raw since before Mania, to be honest. And that's only because there were some noteworthy things on this Raw, like main event for Extreme Rules. We got the women's title match for Extreme Rules, which is going to be so hokey and corny and ridiculous. We got a pretty cool heel turn. I mean, what else did we get here on Raw tonight? I was a little disappointed that the IC title match was such an afterthought, and they just kind of just like it was there, but they didn't really highlight anything with it, and it just was like, all right, you guys got 10-15 minutes, go. Like, how long? Let me see. Yeah, 11 minutes, roughly 12 minutes was given to that IC title match, so I don't know. Let's start running down Raw, and we'll take some questions and phone calls here after a while. So Kurt Angle opened up the show, said he had a huge announcement. Now, before all of this, they announced earlier today that Braun Strowman did in fact have surgery. He had the surgery on his elbow, and they realized, he's got a shattered elbow. He's going to be out of action for upwards of 6 months. So he could come back a little early. He could come back at 4. He could come back at 5. But it's really looking, closer to 6. So with that, now he was supposed to face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. Where do they go now? Well, Kurt Angle came out and said Braun Strowman had his sights on the Universal Championship. He wanted to take on Brock Lesnar, and now he's gone. So we need to get a contender for Brock Lesnar, and we're going to have what he called a historic match, the first ever fatal 5-way Extreme Rules match, and that will feature Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns. This then led to Roman Reigns coming out, told Angle that he didn't need a fatal 5-way, that he should be the number 1 contender. He said that this is his yard because he beat The Undertaker. He put Strowman in that ambulance last week. He put Strowman on the shelf, and the crowd booed. This then brought out Finn Balor. Finn Balor said that he was the first Universal Champion, and he honestly never lost his title. Balor said if Reigns wants a piece of the beast, the line starts behind him. Reigns said that Balor had a lot of heart. He didn't have that killer instinct, though, that it takes to beat Brock. Balor reminded Reigns that he beat Reigns in his first ever Raw match last year. This then led to Samoa Joe coming out. Samoa Joe said that this wasn't about having a big heart or whose yard or whose club it was. It's about action and results. Joe said action was when he hooks on that coquina clutch. Rollins then came out and he said that he came to fight Joe tonight. The two exchanged punches outside the ring. Back in the ring, Wyatt jumped Balor from behind, leading to Reigns going after Wyatt. With all this going on, Rollins snapped Joe's leg across the ropes, sending Joe limping away. Wyatt went after Rollins, but Reigns gave Wyatt a Superman punch. Balor attempted to give Reigns the coup de grace, but he missed. Reigns tried to hit Balor with a Superman punch, but then he missed, and Balor gave Reigns a sling blade. This then led to a backstage segment right after the commercial, where Balor, Rollins, and Reigns were all arguing backstage. Kurt then made 2 matches. He made Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, and Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. So with that, it looks, I honestly still think that Seth Rollins should get the match. It's a little early right now for Finn Balor. I know a lot of people say Finn Balor, but like I said, Seth Rollins. But if you look how everything went down tonight on Raw, they really did make Bray Wyatt look strong. Like, he came off very strong tonight. So that could lead me to believe that at Great Balls of Fire, it could be Bray Wyatt taking on Brock Lesnar. And this could be his payback for getting switched last minute to the Raw brand, losing that title to Randy Orton, not getting the title back, not getting the things that he was, promised. So let's see here in the chat. Rachel Buck says, I think Bray will win at Extreme Rules. Yeah, like I said, I would like to see Seth win, but I really think they're going to go Bray as far as they made him look the strongest of all of them. I mean, yes, Roman Reigns looked strong in his match defeating Finn Balor, but we know Roman's not going to get that win at Extreme Rules. We know Roman's not supposed to get a title match until WrestleMania, so that's why you got to say, okay, Roman looked good because he beat Finn, but Bray, who was somebody that we could actually see winning, did look really strong as well. All right. We then had Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Match went about 8-9 minutes. Jeff Hardy barely cleared the top rope when he went for a tope. Sheamus caught him and threw him across to the dasher boards. Sheamus hit a stiff running knee to Hardy's face for a near fall. Sheamus jumped off the top rope, but Hardy caught him with a sloppy stunner that only got a 2 count. Cesaro jumped on the apron, but Matt Hardy knocked him off to the floor. Jeff nearly collided with Matt, and Sheamus gave Matt a brogue kick. Well, he kind of missed it the first time, so he went back and did it again to make it look good, whatever. This then distracted Sheamus, though, just long enough for Jeff to hit a twist of fate and a swanton bomb for the victory. Then had a 3-minute match between Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks. This one was a rematch from last week because Alicia did lose last week, but she got her shoulder up at the 2 count. So Noam Dar apparently petitioned to Kurt Angle for the rematch, and they got it. Dar was at ringside as well. Banks went for the bank statement, but Fox dumped her over the top rope. Banks landed badly on her right hamstring across the apron. Fox hit her axe kick and got the clean win. I was surprised there was nothing like Noam Dar distracting the ref or anything. And I do gotta say, early in this match, even though it was a really short match, Alicia Fox, she hit a Northern Light suplex. She has one of the best Northern Light suplexes I have ever seen. Her bridge up on them tippy toes, it just looks perfect. Aaron Wood says they will feed Rollins to Lesnar. Broken T Hall says, when will Elias Sampson have a match on Raw? Will Matt Hardy be broken in Extreme Rules or Great Balls of Fire? When will Matt be broken? None of that is known. I didn't even see, I could have missed it, but I didn't even see Elias Sampson on the show tonight. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Good. And you?
Pretty good.
Good. Just finished watching that Finn Balor 24 thing.
Okay, how was it?
Good.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it was good. I liked it.
Awesome.
Yeah, did you see the Ring of Honor pay-per-view?
I saw some of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Oh, I saw it, and to me it was good. It was, and the best part I like from it is when the Young Bucks turn on Adam Cole.
Right. That was actually very well done.
Yeah. And I'm surprised they didn't pick somebody else for to put them in a member.
Oh,
I don't know what's his name.
Marty Scurll?
What's his name? Yeah.
Yeah. They've actually kind of been teasing. If you watch their YouTube channel, they've kind of been teasing it, actually.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. After I finished watching it, somebody posted it on Facebook, and I saw it.
Right.
But I don't know if it's true, but I never seen that part with Kenny Omega said that he tried to fire the Young Bucks. Was that on the show or no?
Who tried to fire the Young Bucks?
Adam Cole.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Well, that's what supposedly they say on their channel.
What happened with all this was, I think it was Nick got food poisoning before one of the shows they were supposed to do recently, and they ended up playing that into a story as far as they said, oh, Adam poisoned Nick. So then that now leads to, Adam was trying to say, no, it was Marty Scurll. And then it leads to, well, we've kicked you out of the club, the Bullet Club, Marty Scurll's taking your spot. So that's where they try to tie it all in. It was reality turned into story.
No, I was watching
Hello?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Lost you for a second. And lost his call. I don't know what's going on. Audio dropped off for a second, and then his call dropped off. Let's take this call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, I'm Rachel from Tacoma, Washington.
How's it going?
Good. I watched Raw today, and it was a good show. And I really think Bray Wyatt is going to win at Extreme Rules, and I think he's going to probably beat Brock Lesnar.
Now, I can agree with you on Bray winning at Extreme Rules. They made Bray look very strong, but as far as him beating Brock Lesnar, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and then Brock Lesnar will probably hold it until Braun Strowman gets better.
He'll probably hold. The plan right now is for Brock Lesnar to hold it all the way till next year's WrestleMania and lose it to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that would be cool because they made really good matches at WrestleMania.
Right, and they had the match at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah, it went really well, and
right.
then Seth Rollins had to ruin it. Yeah, so Raw was really good.
It was better than normal. I could say that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, and I think that Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe will be like the new Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho because they look like they don't want to get rid of each other.
Right. With Samoa Joe saying that it's not done till I say it's done.
Yeah, so they will probably put a match at Great Balls of Fire between those two.
Good chance. It just all depends on who wins that 5-way, which is probably going to be Bray, and then maybe at Great Balls of Fire we can see, like you said, Joe and Seth, and then maybe a rematch between Roman Reigns and Finn Balor.
Yep, because those two went really well together.
Well, because they made the point to say, for Finn to say, I beat you my first night on Raw last year. Roman won tonight, so they need that rubber match.
Yeah, to make it up.
Exactly. See who's the actual better man since it's 1-1.
Yep.
But thank you for the call.
So
Have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Going once. Twice.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
How's it going?
Good. I think Raw was very good. My favorite part of Raw was when Alexa Bliss beat Bayley with the kendo stick. It was kind of cool. And I'm excited for the kendo stick on a pole match. What's your thoughts on the match?
I really think whenever you do any of those gimmicks on a pole matches, they're just kind of corny. I mean, no one's getting pinned and no one's getting submitted. It's just you got to kind of knock your opponent down just long enough for you to climb up to the top rope and pull something down. And with it being a kendo stick, the kendo stick's so long, you may not even have to climb to the top rope to pull it down.
Yeah, but I'm a big Lexi fan. I have all her merch. I absolutely love her so much. She's my idol. Like, who do you think will win? I have my money on Alexis.
Well, if the plan is to do Bayley versus Sasha Banks still at not WrestleMania, but SummerSlam, Bayley may have to get the title back here, unfortunately, if that is still the plan.
Well,
it's been the plan since before WrestleMania to do at SummerSlam Sasha Banks versus Bayley with the championship on the line.
Yeah. Are you going to be... actually, I really love Pro Wrestling Unlimited.
Thank you
for... It's an amazing channel. And what are your thoughts on Lana's debut?
Honestly, I've seen the stuff she's been doing in NXT. She does the dance coming down to the ring, and then when she gets in the ring, she dances on the chair. She's been winning all of her matches on the house shows with the Rusev, I guess you could say, the camel clutch type move. So it just depends on how invested they really are in this. Are they really going to actually push her as a legit contender on SmackDown? Or is this something that if the fans aren't into it after a few weeks, they just kind of just say whatever about it? We don't know, because all we've seen is what they're doing in NXT. And the stuff they're doing down there on the NXT house shows is only kind of like trial runs for Lana to get her better.
Yeah.
And honestly, we haven't even heard a return date or a debut date or whatever you want to call it for Lana on SmackDown. We know Rusev's going to be on the show tomorrow, but they're keeping the two of them apart, so she may not be there tomorrow even though Rusev is.
I heard she's coming in June, but I'm going to a live event in July, and it's a SmackDown live event, so I might see her.
I mean, I would assume June, because they can't run these vignettes forever like they did with Emelina, or the crowd's just going to totally be against it.
Yeah. Who's your favorite female wrestler?
Charlotte Flair.
Woo! Yeah, I like Charlotte Flair too. I think she's amazing. Like, she really is better than her dad. I mean, the Women's Revolution is, like, literally the best thing about WWE.
I don't know if I could say better than Ric Flair. I mean, she's only been around. You have to think about it. She's only legitimately been training and wrestling for less than 4 or 5 years. She started
but
right.
If you think, has Ric Flair ever stepped in a Hell in a Cell match? Nope. She has.
Nope.
Have Ric Flair ever had a pay-per-view streak? Nope. She has.
But you got to think that's all designed by the WWE. I mean, Ric Flair's had multiple cage matches. I mean, he was in War Games. That's 2 Hell in a Cells in 1.
Oh, and Charlotte, and when Charlotte gets in the ring in the Hell in a Cell match, she says Ric Flair has never stepped in a Hell in a Cell.
Well, no, technically he's never been in, quote unquote, a Hell in a Cell match in the WWE. But if you've seen in WCW and all that stuff when they did War Games, that's 2 Hell in a Cells almost combined to make one big cage covering 2 rings.
Yeah.
But thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too. I love the show.
Thank you for that.
Bye.
All right. See, the thing with trying to compare Rick to Charlotte, it's like apples and oranges, because first off, Charlotte's only been doing this for what? Not even 5 years? Let me see when she actually started. She started with the WWE. She didn't wrestle anywhere else. She hasn't, like Bayley and Sasha, who started off in indies. Got a couple years under their belt before WWE even gave them like a tryout or anything. And so, let's see. Charlotte Flair started with the WWE. She was signed in 2012. So 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so this would be her 5th year as a professional wrestler from when she started training. And you can say, oh yeah, well, Charlotte's never been in the Hell in a Cell, or Rick's never been in the Hell in a Cell. Well, yeah, he's never been in a quote-unquote Hell in a Cell match the way WWE would put it, but he's been in brutal cage matches. He's been in the War Games, which is pretty much an oversized, long Hell in a Cell covering 2 rings. there's a lot that Rick's done that Charlotte's never done. So, yeah, pay-per-view streak and this and that. You can't compare the two right now because, like I said, Rick wrestled for 40 years at least. Charlotte's been around for 5. So it's also a completely different business now than it was back when Rick was going in the 70s and 80s. Caller, on the air, what's going on?
Hey, it's me again. Sorry for earlier.
Not
I
a
was
problem.
trying to say it's Enzo like Spike Dudley now. You know how he.
I have no clue. Enzo gets cornier and cornier every week, and he's just, to me, the appeal of the whole Enzo thing and the entrance and the, can't teach that and how you doing. It's just every single week, I like it less and less. I don't know if it's just that it's the same thing every week. He says the exact same lines almost to a T every single week, and it's just starting to get boring. But I'm just... like when Enzo first came to the main roster, like the first 6 months, almost first year, I was like, man, listen to the crowd. They love this. And now it's just like, it's a cool thing to do, so everybody does it because it sounds cool on TV.
So it's like mostly like booing Roman Reigns.
Right.
And TV,
it's cool to boo Roman on TV, so we boo Roman on TV.
Yeah. And the other thing, I was hearing earlier that WWE is signing Adam Cole already, or you haven't heard nothing about that?
As far as Adam Cole goes, nobody's heard really anything. Adam Cole's last independent date is supposed to be Friday for PWG. He hasn't signed with anybody as far as I'm hearing. He does have I think there's an offer from WWE. According to Dave Meltzer, WWE feels like they can sign him, and if they do, they want to make him the top guy in NXT. But there's also an offer from New Japan Pro Wrestling for him to be full-time with them. And if that does happen, if he does say, you know what, I'm going to sign with New Japan, he can still work with Ring of Honor regularly, and he can still work with like PWG and some other indies as well. So all the people that are online saying, oh, it's 100%, he's coming, he already signed, Adam Cole to WWE, it's like 90% very likely, but it's not 100% as far as he's signed anything yet because he hasn't gone through medicals. Like, he hasn't even had enough time to go through all of his medicals, get all the paperwork and all the legal stuff figured out, sign the paperwork. So when everyone's trying to say, oh, he's going to be at TakeOver this weekend, maybe because they come up with some sort of quick agreement, but he hasn't officially signed anything with the WWE.
And earlier today, I was listening to the podcast called Wrestling Soup, and they were talking about SmackDown, that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and Vince don't like it. If they don't like it, how come they made it into a live show then, if they don't like SmackDown?
I haven't heard that. I just know that they like content, and the main reason SmackDown did go live is because USA Network asked for it.
Because that's what they were talking about. They were saying that because you know how they put Dean Ambrose and Miz on Raw,
right?
That
was
again.
Really,
Yeah,
the whole thing with Dean going to Raw is because they wanted to switch the titles. So with switching the titles, Owens has to go to SmackDown, Ambrose has to go to Raw.
Yeah, they were saying that's why they put this feud on Raw, because they think that Vince and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon don't like SmackDown, and they think that nobody watches SmackDown. You get me?
Right, I understand. I've never heard of them, so I don't know, where they would get their information and anything. But like I said as well, I haven't heard that they hate SmackDown because SmackDown does do decent ratings. It's on Tuesday nights now. It's been, almost a year since they've been moved to Tuesday, so they've been doing okay. Yeah. The show has been doing better since it went live, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. It feels better, too, because when it was taped, I didn't feel into it like I do now. Now It's more like Yeah.
Well, because even when it was taped, there were spoilers everywhere, and even if something big happened, WWE would put the spoiler out there saying, hey, this is going to happen on SmackDown, even though it hasn't aired, it is already taped. And they did that a couple times over the years.
Yeah, that was like a big no for me.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I got for tonight.
All right. Not a problem. Thanks for the call.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right.
But yeah, as far as them hating SmackDown, I don't think that they hate SmackDown. I don't know where that would come from. But I know that they would wish that SmackDown did better numbers, like closer to Raw numbers. But at the same time, it's not that far off if you really look at it. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat before we get back to talking Raw, running this show down. We've got Stop the One here with us, Robert, Kathy, I always get this. I don't even know how to say your name. Zero. I guess I'll say Zero. Boss Gamers here. Let's see. I0 PW. How much did you buy your mic for? It was $120. It's the Blue Yeti. Broken T Hall. Goldust turned heel on R-Truth tonight. On Raw, why did Goldust turn heel on R-Truth? Honestly, I don't know, but I like it. I like it because it's something different. It's a new program. It's going to be a program that most fans aren't going to care about because it's Truth versus Goldust. Heel Truth versus, babyface Truth versus heel Goldust. Most fans probably won't care about it, but I think it's good because it's something different. It's something new. We've never seen this before. Truth versus Goldust. We've seen the Golden Truth. And the other thing that makes it so great is because it came out of left field. Nobody, and I mean nobody, could have seen this coming at all. Let's see. Robert Cathy said, Charlotte is already better than her brother David. Oh, that's for sure. Charlotte Flair is way better than David Flair. I mean, Charlotte was better than David when we'd see her in random, on-screen things in WCW, like the one when Russo and David showed up at the Flair house and they were going through the house. Oh, this is Rick's closet. Oh, this is my brother's room, and this is my sister's room. And then when Charlotte and her mom and brother showed up at the house and they were on screen and she gave those weird... But yeah, she's way better than her brother David. For sure. Let's see. What else are you guys saying? DeAndre Dukes, what's going on? Gerardo says, Samoa Joe needs a monster push now that Strowman is hurt. I can see that one. You put Samoa Joe in that Strowman spot. Perfect. I mean, who else? If they really want to just put someone else right in that Braun Strowman spot, who else would really work with that? Samoa Joe. Yes, they haven't really pushed Samoa Joe as well as he could be pushed so far, but he's only been on the main roster for 3 months? Take this last call before we get back to Raw. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
It's the same person from earlier.
Okay.
I just came to ask a quick question, quick.
Go for it.
Can you please do this for SmackDown too?
Oh yeah, I've been doing it for the last couple weeks, Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I try to be live after every Raw and every SmackDown. If I'm not going to be live, if there's something that happens, I let you guys know on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then I try to go live for at least an hour the next morning. So that's how I try to work it all out. I try to do the live streams at night, right after about an hour or so after the show ends. And then, like I said, if I can't, I will let you guys know I can't, and then I'll try to be live that next morning. So we had Alicia Fox defeating Sasha Banks, and then we went into, randomly, they were just like, after the break, Miz defends the IC title, or Dean defends the IC title against Miz. I was like, really? It's not even, it was 45 minutes into the show. Oh, okay. So the match was just a match. We knew by where it was positioned on the show that it was just we announced this match last week, so we have to do something to get out of it this week. Match was pretty lame. Like I said, it went about 12 minutes. Around the 8-minute mark, Ambrose used a tope and then threw Miz into the ring with a clothesline, a bulldog, a cradle for a near fall. Miz kicked out of the cradle and missed a drop kick. There was a thing throughout this entire match where Ambrose kept trying to lock in the dirty deeds and Miz kept getting out, and they played that up a lot. I think it happened like 3 or 4 times. Ambrose caught a flying clothesline off the top rope, got a 2 count. Miz ducked Ambrose's rebound clothesline attempt and hit a skull-crushing finale, but Ambrose kicked out of that finisher. Miz then missed a buzzsaw kick, and Ambrose got a cradle for another 2 count. He then clotheslined Miz over the top rope. Ambrose teased a plancha, but Maurice then ended up standing in front of the Miz. Ambrose then started yelling at the referee, get her out of here, what is she doing in the way? And then as Corey Graves said, which I was thinking the exact same thing, Maurice ain't doing nothing wrong. Maurice is just standing at ringside and quote-unquote happens to be in front of her husband. So finally, she moves out of the way. Dean Ambrose jumps off the top rope, lands on the Miz on the outside. Maurice he jumped off the top rope, which made Miz have a horrible catch. Like, Miz tried to catch him, and I guess Dean came down too fast or too slow or something, and they both just, boom, right into the barricade. The barricade moved about 6 inches. Maurice then distracted Ambrose, nearly getting in the ring. Miz lurked from below, teasing a low blow. And then Ambrose kind of, grabbed Miz's hand from between his legs, walked over, and it was like, okay, what are you going to do now? And he just kicks Miz in the balls right in front of the referee. DQ. Like, really? You're going to get out of it with a DQ like that? Okay, Miz wins the match, but Ambrose keeps his title. Was this kind of like a tease to a heel Dean Ambrose? Because that's for sure a heel thing. That was something you can expect the Miz to do. Oh, I'm going to lose my title. Pff, low blow in front of the referee. I keep my title, I lose the match, whatever. So, could that blatant low blow DQ finish be that tease that people have been asking for a heel Dean Ambrose? I've been saying for weeks now, I don't see it coming. I don't think they're going to turn Dean heel. I don't think it would work. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that right there was the tease for the heel Dean Ambrose. I have heard since Braun Strowman, and this is all fan speculation, I have heard since Braun Strowman went down, what do you do with Roman? And a lot of people have said, you turn Dean heel, and you have him feud with Roman as a babyface, because those two are such good friends, they could work well together. I guess that's just what fans have been saying. I haven't heard anything that could even remotely kind of confirm that or anything. I don't even know what the plan would be for Roman Reigns post Extreme Rules. Like I said earlier, maybe he can start a thing with Finn Balor. But after the IC title match, Balor was then interviewed backstage by Charlie Caruso, who mentioned that Balor's documentary, WWE 24 Finn Balor, was debuting on the network tonight. Balor did the old Michael Hayes, Gordon Solie line about it isn't the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. He said this may be Roman's yard, but it's his universe. Alexa Bliss then came out. She said that Newark was the sweet glands of America. And some of them actually cheered her for that. They kept giving her the what treatment, and every time she'd say something, they'd say what, and then she'd say what. And so she goes, losers say what? And they said what. And it was pretty funny. She's done that before, and it worked. And it worked again this time. She called the fans the poster children of failure, but tonight they would experience the opposite of failure, a winner. She bragged about being the first woman to win the Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Championships, calling herself the goddess of the WWE, saying that every time she says she's going to do something, she does it. And she won the Raw Women's Championship in her first opportunity. She even said that if she was able to be in the Miss USA pageant last night, that she would have won the Miss USA pageant, and said, "You're welcome, Miss DC." Bayley then came out and said that she gave Bliss credit because Bliss had done everything she said she was going to a T. Bayley said that she was invoking her rematch clause and would take on Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. Bliss thought that Bayley's ponytail was cutting off the circulation to her brain because Extreme Rules means doing whatever it takes to win, and Bliss says Bayley has never and will never get extreme. Bliss said Bayley needs her huggers and that they've already had their moment in the sun and that their time is over. She told Bayley to sit at the kiddie table while leaving the fight to the champions and the adults. Bayley then dropkicked Bliss, who immediately made her own comeback by snapping Bayley's neck off the ropes. Bliss pulled out a kendo stick and whacked Bayley across the neck and shoulder. Bayley rolled to the floor and sold it like she got stabbed with a sword. Like, way oversold it. Fans then started chanting ECW as Bliss made faces, like weird faces, at Bayley. Let's see. Back here in the chat, I see the chat moving. Let's see. Blackout says, I think Seth will win the Fatal 5-Way. That's who I would have said at least going into tonight once we first heard about the match. But like I said earlier, if you really look at who was the strongest coming off of this show, now granted, there's 3 weeks until Extreme Rules, but Bray Wyatt looked the strongest of anybody. I mean, Seth Rollins was laying at the end of the show because of Samoa Joe, and then Bray took out Samoa Joe. And then, to be honest, the only person that actually cut a promo in that 5-Way, the only person, and this is when I first thought, oh wow, Bray's going to win. The only person that cut a promo on Brock was Bray. Like a complete promo on Brock when he said something about, actually, let me see if I got it in my notes here. Wyatt did a promo saying that there's evil surrounding Monday Night Raw. This was later in the show. I'm skipping ahead a little bit because this is actually nice. Wyatt did a promo saying there's evil surrounding Monday Night Raw. Some call it a man. Some call it a conqueror. He sees it for what it truly is, and that's a beast. He said everybody would bow before him as the Universal Champion. Wyatt asked Rollins if he had enough to look evil right in the eye, and he will submit to gutless instincts and run. He also said that he had the fortitude to take down the beast, to be the one to slay the beast. And like I said, Balor didn't cut a promo on Brock. Roman didn't cut a promo on Brock. Joe didn't cut a promo on Brock. Rollins didn't cut a promo on Brock tonight. The only one to actually cut a promo on Brock was Bray Wyatt. You got Joe, who talked about Rollins. Oh, it's not over till I say it's over. And then Rollins came out and said the stuff to Joe, and then they fought. Bray and Roman, they both said they wanted the title, but then they kind of went back and forth with each other. So when you look at it, who came off the strongest towards the championship, towards a championship match? Bray Wyatt, for sure. All right. Before we get going, I do got to get a little plugs in here. If you do want to help Pro Wrestling Unlimited, help us out, help keep us going, you can do so by heading over to gawkbox.com/PWUnlimited. And over there, you can help donate to our channel, but it doesn't cost anything at all. Just a couple minutes of your time, really. What it is you go on their website, best done on a tablet or a mobile device. You interact with their website. You go to that, gawkbox.com/PWUnlimited. You either watch a 15 or 30-second clip, download an app to your phone, do what the app requires you to do, and then they tip us. Doesn't cost you anything. If you want and you're here on the live stream, you can always hit that super chat button, or which is better for us because YouTube likes to take their 30%, and this only takes 3%. You can go to our Streamlabs page, where you can donate there as well. Link is in the description below. And if you hit any of our special donations, then there will actually trigger a cool animation here on the screen during the live stream. And also, you can always go to our TeePublic store where you can get any of our t-shirts, our 2 newest t-shirts. We have our Jinder Mahal guy t-shirt, and we have our Braun Strowman I'm Not Done With You Yet t-shirt. So if you want to help out Pro Wrestling Unlimited, those are the ways you can. Also, you can also go to our GoFundMe. It is gofundme.com/helpupgradepwu. I would greatly appreciate any of the help, as it would help us towards getting a new computer and a webcam to be here on the screen live for you here on the live streams, and to be able to get videos out faster, to be able to get better videos out, more different kinds of things that I really can't do with the equipment I have now. So, I would appreciate any of the help, any of the donations, any of the, any way you can help is greatly appreciated. If you do want to call in, the line is open. It is 559-475-8473. So after we had the Bayley segment, we had Angle on the phone with Sami Zayn. When Miz showed up, Miz wasn't happy about Ambrose's intentional disqualification. Angle said Miz did technically win, so he will face Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules. Miz said he wanted a match at Extreme Rules where Ambrose couldn't lose via disqualification. Maurice and Angle started screaming at each other in French when the Drifter popped up. Okay, I didn't notice that. Playing his guitar, Miz and Ambrose looked at him weird and left. Angle asked the Drifter if he could help him, but the Drifter drifted away. Yeah, I kind of didn't see that whole spot. So there's where the Drifter was tonight. Like I said, I hadn't noticed him on the show, and that's because I actually didn't see that whole... I saw when Miz first came in and asked for the thing, and then I got pulled away from the television. I do got to say, though, thank you to Robert Cathy, who has just given us a $5 Super Chat donation. Really appreciate that. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. What's going on with Becky Lynch? Honestly, we don't know what they're doing with anybody on SmackDown right now as far as the women go. Right now, they're just all doing that six-way this weekend or six-man tag match this weekend at Backlash, and then we're going to go from there. If the baby faces win, then we may not know where we're going. If the heels win, then I could see whoever gets that pin maybe getting the next women's championship match on SmackDown. Let's see. Blackout says Alexa Bliss and that kendo stick were the same size. It's pretty funny. Ramiro says, who do you think can get a loss to Brock and won't affect him as much? I've been saying for a couple weeks now, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is somebody who you can have look strong coming out of Extreme Rules, and then at Great Balls of Fire lose to Brock Lesnar, and would hurt him the least. If Bray goes in there and loses to Brock Lesnar, it's going to look bad because he lost his title at WrestleMania. And then, yes, he won the House of Horrors match, but that match was such a cluster that nobody cared about it, and it actually made Bray look worse even though he won. So, in my opinion, who can lose but not hurt the most, if that makes sense? Seth Rollins for sure. I mean, maybe Samoa Joe, but that's a big maybe. Just for Fun Gaming says Asuka is the next Goldberg from WCW. I mean, if you add up all her live event wins, she's at like 173 or 174. 174 wins without a loss in NXT since she debuted. That's counting TV, TV and live events. Do they say it? No, they're not bringing it up. I don't know what they're ever going to do with it, if they are ever going to bring it up, but let's see. Aaron Wood says Bliss is too limited in the ring to do a last man standing. I think I might have... Oh, okay. DeAndre Duke says a woman's last man standing match. Robert Cathy says Alexa Bliss gives the best promos. Out of all the women in the company, I feel like she does do the best promos. Charlotte's promos, like some say Charlotte's promos are good. I think she tries too hard to remember her lines, and the way her delivery is sometimes, it's just like when she's sitting there, she's like, I'm the greatest woman in the WWE. I don't need anybody to announce me. Like the way she does it, it's just, I don't know. But Alexa's the best on the mic. That's for sure. Women in WWE. And then you say who's best in the ring. It's a toss-up. I would maybe say Charlotte and then Alexa or Sasha. But yeah, as far as on the mic, Sasha is really good on the mic. But Alexa's just a tad bit better. Alexa's just got that something about her. And I think it's that thing that a lot of the women, when the crowd's not into them, you can tell that it affects them. And that you can tell that happens to Charlotte a lot. But Alexa, like tonight, and she did it a couple weeks back, when the crowd's giving her that what treatment, she's just like doing her thing, and say, what? And she's like, we'll just say, what? Like, she just rolls right through. DeAndre Duke says, who do you think should take the pinfall? Oh, that's a good one. Who should take the pinfall? That, I think, all depends on who wins it. If it's Seth Rollins, maybe Samoa Joe. and that just ends their feud. If it's Bray Wyatt, maybe Seth. That's a good thing. I haven't thought about that. I've been thinking, who could win it, who can look good coming out of it, and Seth or Bray. But I didn't think, who can take the pinfall. I doubt Roman would take the pinfall. Now, Roman can take the pinfall because his big push isn't supposed to come till later in the year, probably more towards Royal Rumble. So maybe he can take the pinfall and it won't hurt him as much. And since the fans aren't behind Roman Reigns at all, then you don't have to hurt anybody else. You've got Balor, who you want the fans to be totally behind. You've got Bray Wyatt, who if he's not winning, you need to rehab him. Samoa Joe doesn't need to be taking that fall, really, in all honesty. I didn't think about that. That's a really good thing to think of. Yeah, I think maybe Roman should take the fall just because it's not like he's in line for a huge championship push or a huge... Yes, he's going to be right up there towards the main event always. But that's what I would think maybe. You give Roman take that fall. I think it's either Roman, and if Seth's winning, then Joe, and then he can be like, see, I beat Joe again. I pinned him in Extreme Rules. This is over. I'm moving on to Brock. So, yeah. Robert Cathy says, Charlotte sounds like she's reading lines when she talks. Yeah, pretty much. She's got her lines. She had just read them 5 minutes ago, and she's just trying to remember what to say. And I don't know why, but she drags out the ends of her sentences. Almost every sentence, she drags it out. What was it? Was it last week on SmackDown when Carmella came out and she introduced Natty, and then Naomi came out and introduced Becky, and then Charlotte was like, yeah, it was last week when Charlotte was like, I'm the queen, and I don't need anybody to announce me. I don't know why she drags the words out the way she does. It's just weird. Anyways, back to Raw. Again, if you do want to call in, the phone number is 559-475-8473. The line is open. But next on Raw, we had Neville and TJP taking on Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher, and they did announce that Neville will be defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Austin Aries at Extreme Rules, but they didn't give it a stipulation. So I don't know if they're going to add the no DQ because of what happened at Payback. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't really do a separate video about it because it wasn't a specialty match or anything. Just I forgot to mention this, they announced it before Raw that the Hardys will in fact, even though we kind of knew it already since last week in the Tag Team Turmoil, but they announced that the Hardys will in fact be defending the tag titles against Sheamus and Cesaro at Extreme Rules. Again, didn't put any sort of stipulation on the match. So as far as the tag match goes, Cruiserweight tag match. Aries sold his left leg for most of the match as it was taped up, and storyline is that he's got an injured knee. And it all came from Neville and TJ Perkins, who have been targeting his knee. Crowd was very distracted during this match as there was 2 beach balls going around, and they started chanting 2 or 3 times for CM Punk. Now remember, they were in Newark, New Jersey tonight. Sunday and Saturday when they're in Chicago, going to be a lot of CM Punk chants probably. Anyways, so Gallagher threw TJP around with exploders and gut-wrench suplexes, and he got a hot tag, or on a hot tag. In the finish, Neville got in the ring illegally. Aries started brawling with him. TJP chop blocked Aries, which recovered quickly to give Neville a plancha. TJP went for the detonation kick, but Gallagher delivered his usual stiff headbutt. Gallagher teased the gentleman's dropkick on TJP, but Neville grabbed his leg from the outside, stopping him. Aries then decked Neville with a discus 5-arm on the outside. This led to TJP grabbing Gallagher, hitting his detonation kick, and getting the win. This then really led to nothing. I mean, yeah, we've got Neville versus Austin Aries for the championship. Again, 3rd pay-per-view in a row. Cool. But with them not putting a stipulation on this, why do we need it again? what's going to make it better than the last match? It's not going to have that crap finish. Is Aries finally getting the championship after all this? Maybe. I think it's the perfect time to give Austin Aries the championship. But I thought Payback was the perfect time to give Austin Aries the championship. So, in my opinion, who do I think should win between Neville's and Austin Aries? Austin Aries. We then had Bayley backstage with the trainers as they were icing her shoulder. Angle then came in and said, you know what, Bayley? You're going to get your match. You're going to get a regular, straight-up wrestling match at Extreme Rules with the title on the line. And Bayley said, you know what? I appreciate that, but why can't I get my revenge? Why can't I give to Alexa what she has coming? And so Kurt says, you know what? I got this. Think about it. Okay, so we're going to do, for the Raw Women's Championship, a kendo stick on a pole match. Like, really? A kendo stick on a pole match? Like, is Vince Russo booking this shit? Honestly, that's a Vince Russo thing if I've ever heard one. I mean, remember in WCW, a pinata on a pole? I don't know. I've never liked these on a pole matches. I know TNA's done them with their Feast or Fired, and it's their version of Money in the Bank. But it's just like, it's a cop-out kind of thing because nobody really has to get beaten. I mean, there's no pinfall. There's no submission. No countouts. No disqualification. It's just whoever can climb to the top rope first and pull whatever's up there down gets to use it. And half of the time in these matches, you pull it down, you use it, and then that person ends up finally reversing or something and uses it back on you, and then you get to use it again. And I don't know. Maybe they can do something well with this, but I honestly don't think that it's going to be anything worthwhile. We then had Goldust and Truth backstage. Goldust asked, Truth came in and was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry we lost last week. I feel so bad. And Goldust was like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's one bump in the road. We can rebound. Where's that smile that you always have on your face? Why are you so down? We've got Gallows and Anderson tonight. We get a win here. It could be a rebound. We could be on the up and up. So then we had Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor. This match went almost 15 minutes. In the match, Reigns missed a charge to the corner, hitting the post. He pretty much hit that Braun Strowman spot, injuring his left shoulder further. Outside the ring, Reigns picked Balor up and powerbombed him against the post. Reigns delivered the drive-by, pushing Balor back into the post again. Reigns was talking to Balor at this point, telling him how he was going to finish him. Reigns hit a spinning powerbomb for a 2 count. Reigns called for the Superman punch, but Balor kicked him in the ribs. Reigns tried to lift Balor for a powerbomb, but that injured shoulder wouldn't give. So, gave out actually, though. It did gave out. And he had to drop him. Balor kicked Reigns down and gave him a double stomp, followed by a sling blade. Balor ran at Reigns, who hit a Superman punch, but then Balor kicked out. Reigns called for the spear, but Balor kicked him across the head. Got another sling blade, a drop kick, tried the coup de grace, but Reigns got up and crotched Balor. Reigns hit the spear, got the pin, boom. Lights then went out, and we got that Bray Wyatt promo we did already talk about. Henry Capuzzo says, WWE is afraid to turn Sasha heel because of her merchandise sales. Yes, as far as women go, I think Sasha is up there as one of the top merch sellers for women. So that's a lot of things. Like with John Cena. John Cena was either right after or right before his last match with The Rock. It was all set for a heel turn. They approved it. Vince said go for it. Cena had all new merch made, and then he signed a deal with like Walmart or Kmart for merch. And Vince goes, you know what? We're not going to do this. Because if we turn you heel and the fans are totally against you, you're not going to sell anything. This deal we've signed with this big box store, it's not going to really, we're not going to make much money off of it. It's what he's thinking. And that's the same thing with Roman Reigns. They don't want to turn Roman heel right now because the feeling is if we turn Roman heel, people aren't going to want to buy the merch of the bad guy. Now, there's an exception to that. When AJ was a heel, his merch was selling. Jericho, when he was a heel, his shirt was selling. Now, Jericho always had, his mentality is heels don't need merch. So he only had the one shirt. But Kevin Owens, he's a heel. His shirts sell. So I don't know why they're not looking at that. I know the whole AJ Styles thing. It's AJ Styles. Yes, he's a heel, but everybody loves him anyways. And Kevin Owens may be the same, and Jericho as well. Yes, he's a heel, but everybody loves him. Especially because of the list, even though Jimmy Jacobs came up with it. So Rollins did an interview with Charlie Caruso, responding to Bray Wyatt, saying it was going to take more than that to keep him from winning the Universal Championship, and him being creepy was just whatever. Golden Truth then came out. We thought they were going to have a tag team match as far as taking on Gallows and Anderson. When Truth was in the middle of the ring doing his song, what's up, the Golden Truth, it's the Golden Truth. Goldust then turned on Truth. Yeah, Goldust, full-fledged heel. Giving him a forearm from behind. A few fans at ringside were like, thank you, Goldust, thank you, Goldust. And then put the boots to Truth outside, just laying to waste him, threw him back in the ring, threw him into the corner, then threw him back in the ring. Goldust did the old mannerisms as far as like when he first came in, when he would do the with his hands going up his chest and then his arms going out, but he didn't do the whole I was waiting for it. I was like, was he going to do the little bite thing? Is he going to do it? No. Maybe he didn't do it because it's now a Matt Hardy thing. I don't know. Anyways, Truth tried to kick him once and told him over the PA, that's what's up. Okay, whatever. I liked it because it's something different. It's something that nobody expected. And in WWE, for at least like 3 or 4 years, we haven't gotten unexpected things. It's rare when something happens that you don't expect. It's very rare. Like, I don't even remember the last time something happened in WWE that I didn't expect. I mean, what was the last thing that happened that I didn't expect? They made Roman versus Undertaker for Mania. That was kind of expected, but not really. So, yeah. They then had Enzo and Cass come down. They got their normal ovation. Enzo did his shtick, saying that he was back in his hometown. So, of course, their ovation is going to be better than normal. Enzo said that he was the Michael Jordan of jargon and that he was born in this state and called the Garden State. Titus O'Neil came out with the reluctant Apollo Crews. O'Neil did a parody of Enzo's shtick. O'Neil got big heat for interrupting Enzo. O'Neil claimed that Crews was facing Amore tonight, and Cass says that he was corrected and that Cass was supposed to be facing Titus. O'Neil said that I can't right now because I got my $3,000 suit and my $2,000 shoes on. I can't wrestle. Cass says that the match was still going to happen, and in about a minute and a half or so, kicked him in the face, went for the pin. There you go. Enzo then tried to be all cool and get a selfie with Apollo, and Apollo attacked Enzo. Well, hey, maybe they're doing something here. I don't know if they're going to actually make... Because the original plan was to make Crews the manager of Apollo, and then maybe even having his own little group called the Titus Brand. But now they're noticing, it's a DDP thing all over again. The manager can't be a bigger guy than the actual guy he's managing. And that's the whole DDP situation. When DDP was first managing, when he first came into the business, he was a manager. But he was always taller than everybody, bigger than everybody. And they're like, you know what? It ain't going to work. Dusty told him, he said, you know what? If you're going to want to do this, you're going to have to do this as a wrestler because you're bigger than other guys. And no one can take the guy serious if the guy that's just standing outside the ring with them is just going to be bigger than them and not do anything. And so, at 35 years old, Diamond said, you know what? I'm going to train and I'm going to learn to wrestle. And he did it. So, all right. So then we had the main event, Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, which did end in disqualification. Rollins hit a pescado early, then jumped off the dasher boards, but Wyatt caught him and drove him right back into the boards with a Uranagi. Wyatt hit a superplex. Goldust caught a blockbuster. Or, why am I saying Goldust? Rollins caught a blockbuster. Crowd was worn out by this point. Like, the crowd was kind of into it, but they really weren't. I don't know. Oh, man. crowd they kind of died out towards the end of the show. And good thing there wasn't like a 205 Live or something taping after, because they would have really been dead. Anyways, after Rollins failed to hit his new Rainmaker knee clothesline, there's no name for it. I don't know what to call it. Wyatt made a charge at him, but Rollins threw him out of the ring. Rollins hit a tope, then came off the top rope for a clothesline for a 2 count. Wyatt teased his sister Abigail, but Rollins escaped, only to have Wyatt level him with a clothesline. Wyatt caught a Uranagi for a near fall, and this Uranagi, like Bray, lifted him high and slammed him down hard. He then went for Sister Abigail, but Rollins turned it into a schoolboy cradle for a 2 count. Rollins then hit a super kick and a Falcon Arrow for 2. Rollins went to the top rope, and Wyatt went right out of the ring. Seth then hit a high cross off from the top rope to the outside. As he was getting up, Joe then ran at him and attacked Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was then DQ'd. Well, no, Bray was then DQ'd, giving Seth the win. Joe then laid out Rollins in the ring. Wyatt then got in the ring, teased a confrontation with Joe, and then we thought, they're going to team up and take out Rollins, before Bray turned on Joe, hit the Sister Abigail, and was the last man standing in the middle of the ring as Raw goes off the air. So that is how Raw ended. So, if you look at all the Raws we've had recently, it was a better show than normal. I will say that for sure. Like, for sure. Could have been better. But like I said, in comparison to what we've been getting, I was okay with this show. I've been giving Raws like 5s and 6s. I'd maybe give this a 7, 7.5, 7.5, if you want to say that. But I do have some other notes for you here. Now, we do know, originally, it was said that the UK show was supposed to debut on the WWE Network Thursday. They've actually moved that, and it will be on Friday. They will be airing it live on the WWE Network. It will be 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern here in the States, and that makes it noon West Coast time here in the States. Now, we do know that Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness will be doing the commentary for that. But it has also been announced, Jim Ross announced this himself, he will actually be doing the commentary for the UK title match this Saturday at NXT TakeOver Chicago. So Jim Ross will actually take the spot of, I guess, Tom Phillips for that match. Or maybe Tom Phillips will stay there. I don't know. Kick out Percy Watson. I don't like Percy Watson anyways. He's just a bumbling idiot. Anyways, so that's what's going on with the UK stuff. It's going to air Friday on the WWE Network. I don't know if it's supposed to be an hour or a 90-minute special, because they did tape 2 days worth of stuff, but I'm hearing that we're only getting the second day's stuff. Again, those times are, if you're in the UK, it will be on live on the network at 8 p.m. It will then be 3 p.m. here on the East Coast in the United States, and that's noon West Coast time here in the United States. And then I think as far as a replay, it's supposed to replay 3 or 4 hours after that. So if you're at work or something and you can't catch it, it's going to replay, but it should also go up video on demand. We do have 2 matches announced for SmackDown tomorrow. It will be the first time, they're calling it a first time, which it is, but it's a first time ever match. AJ Styles taking on Jinder Mahal. And also Baron Corbin taking on WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton. Also, I've got a little spoiler alert. I got to say that. Spoiler alert from this weekend's, I think it was Saturday's NXT TV tapings. Now, we all know on Friday, Marty Scurll joined the Bullet Club. Marty Scurll was successful in his match at the pay-per-view, retaining the Ring of Honor Television Championship over Matt Sydal. But the next day at the tapings, he wasn't so lucky, as he did. Now, here it goes. Spoiler alert. I need to get some sort of sound for that or something. But anyways, Marty Scurll is no longer the Ring of Honor Television Champion, as he lost the title to Kushida. I don't know what their plan is with Kushida as far as in Ring of Honor, but he is now the Ring of Honor television champion. And as far as news goes, I am hearing also, most people probably don't care about this, but some do. As far as Darren Young goes, Darren Young is expected to be returning in either late June or early July from his elbow injury. And also, Zack Ryder is likely to be coming back within the next month or two as well. And I don't know if they're going to put him back with Mojo or not, or if they're going to try to keep pushing Mojo as a singles. So that is where we do stand as far as those returns. But, hey, if you guys got any more questions, ask them here in the live chat. You can also call in 559-475-8473. Just for Fun Gaming says, really wish WWE wasn't PG, but why? A lot of people say, WWE would be so much better if they're not PG. Okay, but then they don't give any examples on how. There's a lot you can do with the PG rating that people don't understand. Like, okay, they're not PG, so they can't say certain things, or they got to be a little more discreet on things. Cool. There's a lot they can do. Andre Suicida says, what time would that be? Central? It should be 2 o'clock. Yeah, Blackout says right there, Central. Central time should be 2 o'clock. Central time is always 1 hour before, 1 hour earlier than East Coast, and 2 hours later than West Coast. All right. Henry says they need to repackage Bayley. Her character isn't working at all in the main roster. I agree, but what are they going to do with her? Like, she's just so this character that you change anything and it's just going to fail probably. Like, give me an example. What can they do to make Bayley different if they were to say repackage her? Like, everybody just knows Bayley as this. It's not like they can repackage her like Daria in NXT and make her some MMA kind of thing. Or a Mandy Rose where she's all about her sex appeal. Or a Liv Morgan where she's like this cool hip-hop girl, kind of like the female Enzo, but not as over the top, Like, what can they do with Bayley if they were to repackage her or revamp her or something? Blackout says Sasha Banks' promos have been getting watered down ever since she got called up. That's true. Her promos were way better in NXT. Henry Caputo says a lot of people think Adam Cole will be at TakeOver. I don't think he will. I don't think he will either. I could be wrong, but honestly, his last indie date right now, advertised indie date, is Friday for PWG. But last I heard, he hasn't signed anything with WWE, and he has an offer from New Japan. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, he could show up, but I think that's too soon. I really think that's too soon. As far as them getting a deal together, him agreeing to a deal, signing a deal, getting his medicals, yeah, they can have some sort of handshake agreement that he says, I'm coming. So they put him in the crowd at TakeOver. But if then it falls through, what do? You've already shown him. You've already, established that he's coming to your company. And if something falls through, or he does say, you know what? I'm going to pull that Kenny Omega and go over to Japan for a year. So Robert Cathy says Universal USA has been pretty slack with WWE programming. PG really doesn't matter. Exactly. It's not that they're PG. It's that the product's just not that good. There's a lot they can do while being PG. It's just the product, for some god-awful reason, hasn't really been what it used to be, what it can be, what it should be. And that's where the issue is. Ike0 says you shove her head and have her wear black and bam. Make Bayley a skinhead? Uh-oh. Just for Fun Gaming. Any news on Crazy Steve? I did have a big update over the weekend saying that WWE, they're waiting on his medicals. If everything can come back clear from his medicals, then he can start within the next 2 months or sooner. And here's the thing. The person in the company that's really pushing for her or for him to be signed is Stephanie. Because Stephanie found out that he's legally blind without glasses or contacts. And so Stephanie thinks that, oh, well, we signed this blind guy. It looks good on us. We can use him for public relations. He can go out and do interviews about being blind in wrestling and having to wear his contacts while he wrestles and the complications with that and saying, oh, yeah, WWE signed me and giving me this great opportunity. And then, yeah. So that's why Stephanie kind of wants him for a PR guy. Henry Capoza says, any updates on Emma's shoulder? We haven't gotten any official updates, but based off of her Instagram, I do believe she doesn't need surgery. She said on Instagram that she's rehabbing the shoulder now. She's working out with the shoulder, and that sounds good. That leads me to believe that she doesn't need surgery, because if she did need surgery, she wouldn't be rehabbing it. She would be rehabbing it after the surgery. So it could be just something where she'll be out for a couple months, WWE won't say anything, and then bada boom, she just returns randomly 1 week on Raw. Maybe like next time we see Dana Brooke, she comes out and attacks her. I don't know. I could fantasy book all day if I really wanted to, but there's no need to. We don't know the severity of the injury. So, Carol Owler, I think that they should make Daniel Bryan GM of 205 Live, give them a base and someone making the matches, etc. He knows them better than anyone else. No, because 205, the Cruiserweight guys are just an extension of Raw. So really, if you really think about it, Kurt's supposed to be the GM of 205 Live, if you really think about it. DeAndre Dukes, again with this question. Mike Bennett, Maria, anything? Nothing. Haven't heard anything since like 2 weeks after Mania. That they were supposedly backstage. Both parties are interested. Nothing's come up. Nothing. Haven't heard anything since. Robert Cathy says they took all competition, so they are putting out... Wait. They took out all competition, so they are putting out anything that's what's... Oh, okay. So you're saying that everybody's... Pretty much what I think you're saying is everybody's beat everybody. And so there's no real competition, and they're just putting out whatever they want, and that's what's wrong with WWE. Got it. Ryan Armstrong says, is WWE actually bringing in Rosemary? Triple H really wants her for the women's tournament. The only issue is her contract with Impact. It is expiring soon. I don't know exactly when, but the feeling is that if it does expire before the women's tournament, they can sign her on some short-term deal for just the tournament, get her in the tournament. Triple H wants her as a representative of Canada, since she's from Winnipeg, and then go from there. If everything works out in the tournament, then they sign her to a full-time, long-term deal. And this happened last year with the Cruiserweight Classic. There were some guys that were brought in last minute, so they signed them to really quick deals where they don't have to do the full medicals, and they don't have to do the full evaluations and all the rigmarole of legal. It's just like, oh, you're in here for a tournament. Cool. But then afterwards, then they do the long, drawn-out process of signing everybody. So yes, Triple H is very interested in using Rosemary for the WWE Women's Tournament. He wants her as a representative from Canada, and then we go from there. But like I said, the issue is we don't know exactly when her contract does expire with TNA or Impact Wrestling, and so honestly, they can't even offer her or legally, technically, talk to her about anything until that does expire. So yeah, the news is out there, the rumors are out there, but I don't know what kind of talks have been had since her contract's not expired. DeAndre Dukes, anything on Shelton Benjamin? Nope. Shelton said, I think it was like a week after Mania, that he's not signed with anybody and that he's taken bookings. Just for Fun Gaming wins Mysterio's contract up with Lucha Underground. According to Conan, he said earlier this year that Ray's contract is up soon as this season is done. So I know Ray had a different deal than most anybody else in that company. So Ray's contract could expire once season 3 finishes airing. But because I heard two different things. I've heard his contract's over at because with Lucha Underground, what it is the last appearance you make on TV you can then go, your contract will then expire like 5 or 6 months. I don't understand it, but it's like, say your last airing is October 1st. Last time you show on NXT or on Lucha Underground television. Then after 6 months or 5 months or something, you can go sign with whoever you want. I don't know if that's a fact of because they've taped so far in advance and some stuff's taped out of order. And so then maybe they'll be like, well, we thought we weren't going to use you anymore, but we have this tape stuff we're going to throw it out really quick. So maybe that's the issue. But I did hear, like Conan was saying, Ray's contract could be up after season 3, but I have heard a few people say that they have kind of heard things about Ray's contract being up after season 4 if they do a season 4. And I just heard today that Lucha Underground is returning. I know this is old news. I actually hadn't heard it really. But Lucha Underground is supposed to return to the El Rey Network on the 31st. Carol Owler says they started off as more of an NXT type show, recorded at Full Sail. What are you talking about though? Like, 205 Live. It needs to get away from the SmackDown tapings, that's for sure. But when you call it live, what are you going to do? You're just going to be at Full Sail every Tuesday night at 10 o'clock at night? It just doesn't make sense. They've already stifled themselves with calling it 205 Live. Wanting it live on the WWE Network. Wanting it filmed after SmackDown. Like, they've already stifled themselves with all that. Because what I would have done, to be honest, if they want them on Raw, well, no, that wouldn't work either. Because I would say tape before Raw, but then you have stuff, but then it wouldn't make sense to the people there because you'll film stuff that's going to happen on Tuesday. Yeah, never mind. You have to film on Tuesday if they're going to be on Raw. Ryan Armstrong, is Chavo Guerrero retired or what? Now, Chavo Guerrero, there's a concussion lawsuit out on WWE with a bunch of ex-superstars. Chavo's linked to that. He's one of the people suing. Last I heard from Chavo, he's still associated with Lucha Underground, but he's also actually associated with Netflix's new Glow TV show, as far as he's actually been hired on as a trainer to help the actresses to help the actresses get more, experience in the ring, as far as teaching them how to take bumps and do simple moves. I don't know if they do have stunt doubles as well, but I know Chavo has been brought in there to pretty much teach the women the basics. Awesome Kong is actually there as well, helping out training, and she has a role as a character on the show as well. It should be on Netflix. Let me get the exact Netflix Glow. They have put out a couple different teasers for it. The exact date for it, though, June 23rd on Netflix. And I think they're doing a 10-episode season. WWE ECW says, tonight at Raw, fans left at 10. So they were leaving an hour early. Dang, I didn't hear that. Where'd you hear that from? Gerardo says, do you think when Triple H takes over WWE, you think he will do cross-promotion things like with Ring of Honor and New Japan? I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't look like it because Triple H has really been one of the guys that's been spearheading this UK thing and wanting to expand globally. So he can, maybe, but honestly, we don't know what Triple H would do. Because like right now, yeah, he's got full reign in NXT for the most part. But in the long run, Vince has got the final say on everything. So you can say, oh, well, look at NXT. Triple H has done such great things down there. Vince is still at the final say down there. Like, what was it? There was a takeover last year where American Alpha were supposed to retain their titles over Dash and Dawson. Vince called day of and goes, I'm using these guys, pulling them up in the draft. Get titles off of them. Day of. So they had to rework the match so Dash and Dawson get the tag titles, the NXT tag titles. So, like, if there's something that Vince wants in NXT, even though we hear all the time he doesn't watch the product, he doesn't really follow it too much. Yeah, so WWE ECW says he was there. Oh, okay, you were there live. Wow. So people were leaving the show an hour early. They didn't even want to stay for it. So what would that be like? They left right after the Finn Balor match then? That's crazy. Like they saw Finn and said, okay, boom, out of here. Henry Capozza says they should get Santana Garrett for the women's tournament. That would be a good one. Is she? I know she had been working with Impact recently. Well, let me see if she's actually like signed a deal with them. As I know, she's had multiple tryouts with WWE. She was on NXT a couple times last year. March 2nd, attending an appearance during the debut. Yeah, so she's appeared twice for NXT this year, but I don't see any indications that she's signed with NXT. So, there you go. She could be used. And she's somebody that I really think I think they should use her, Santana Garrett, Candice LeRae, Rachel Ellering, Tessa Blanchard to be another great name. But you also got to think they got to have a list already in mind on who they want, because they said they have 32 women representing 17 countries. So they've got to have a list of women already in mind that they want to use. Because, yeah, we can say all these names we want, but we keep saying names that are American. Couple Canadian. I mean, it's easy when you think of, well, what guys from the UK, or what guys from here, what guys from here. But with women, it's like, we don't see a lot of women from overseas and stuff. I mean, what do you got over in the UK? You got Jessica Havoc. I don't think WWE is interested in her. At least I haven't heard anything. But what other women do you have over there? I mean, you've got Tessa Blanchard, who works for What Culture over there, but she's American. So it's going to be interesting to see how they finagle this, because you can always, just like with the Cruiserweight Classic, there were guys that are technically from the USA, but they were representatives of their country, of where their roots are. So, just for fun gaming says, any news on the Vince movie? Not really. I know Linda did an interview saying she doesn't think the movie will ever be made. Excuse me. Robert, Kathy, I'm out. Hal, have a good day. Thank you for being here, and thanks for that $5 donation. Always appreciate Robert, Kathy being here in the live stream. I almost didn't recognize that it was you early on in the stream because you changed your avatar photo. So I was like, oh, it says Robert, Kathy. Okay, cool. Kind of confused me there for a second. DeAndre Dukes, do you think Vince making last-minute changes messes things up sometimes? Oh, yeah, for sure. It messed up a lot of the SmackDown stuff because everyone thought AJ was going to Raw. A big thing for SmackDown was supposed to be a feud between Bray and Orton going almost to SummerSlam. So with that, they had to change it because Bray got moved. WWE ECW says, yeah, they were getting bored. Really win during the tag match of the Cruiserweights. Cruiserweight tag match. Okay. Wow. So that was... We can tell they were bored when they were throwing the beach balls and they were chanting CM Punk. We want Punk. Yeah, we knew they were bored then. Carol Eller says, I live in the UK. There are loads of great female wrestlers over here. Well, that's good. I guess it's just that because, we're here in the States, we don't see them as much. I know a lot of the UK guys do come over here for work when it's available, so that's why we do see a lot of the UK. We know more of the UK names for male wrestlers. So, all right. Okay. Let me do my sweep here real fast as far as see if I got any more news to give you guys before we do. Let's see. Nothing there. Well, guys, I guess that's going to do it for this live stream Monday Night Raw review. It's a good stream. Thank you to all the callers, all the listeners, all everybody here on the live stream, everybody who's watching on replay on the Pro Wrestling Unlimited YouTube channel. I appreciate all the support, everything you guys do for us. Again, if you want to help out the channel, you can go to gawkbox.com/PWUnlimited, where you don't have to spend any money to donate. Just takes a couple minutes of your time. You can also go to our GoFundMe, gofundme.com/helpupgradepwu. And then finally, you can hit up our TeePublic store, where you can get our t-shirts. But any of our t-shirt designs can also be stickers, mobile phone cases, I think laptop cases. There's a bunch of different ways you can get our merch, as far as you pick a design you like and go from there. T-shirt, sweatshirt. I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do with our TeePublic store. We do have, like I said, 2 new t-shirts we put up recently. We have our Jinder Mahal guy shirt, where I actually was contacted by somebody who bought one of those shirts recently and said he will be wearing that shirt to Backlash this Sunday. So if Jinder Mahal wins, it's going to be a Jinder Mahal guy very happy there at Backlash. Also, we do have our new Braun Strowman I'm Not Done With You shirt. Now, someone did say that, well, Braun actually says I'm not finished with you. I couldn't really put that because I don't want to get anything with WWE saying, oh, that's infringement, copyright, you can't do that. So I changed the word a little bit. It's pretty much the same thing, though. So we do have that shirt up as well. If you do want to check out our TeePublic store, you can always do that. Link is in the description, and it is in the description of every single video we post. Again, I do want to say thank you guys for being here on the live stream. I do appreciate it greatly, and we will be live once again tomorrow night after SmackDown. Have a good night, guys.